Hey guys, it's Chedic, and in today's episode of podcast, we're going to be talking about endurance. And now this podcast is structured a little differently, and I would like to hear your opinions on that. But basically, it's me getting a topic, and then I separately ask each individual about that topic to see what they think. Now, these individuals are hardcore endurance players. We have Allura, Robs, UWUSMURF, Ty, Orthow, Flipper. She's the Beach North expert. That's what I needed to have that. None of us here build Beach North. So yeah, basically I asked them each about each topic, such as lava bomb, AFK endurance. They all have different varying opinions, and I thought we could come to a consensus about certain things and possibly offer up certain solutions for the things I deem as problems. If you guys like this type of format, it would actually make every future podcast much easier, because then we could come up with a certain amount of questions, ask those questions, and that would be dope. Personally, I like the amount of people that were in this podcast. I think I might from now on start doing around 8 to 7 people or 8 to 6 people, because it's very controllable, much manageable, and then I could do sweet things like this thumbnail, which isn't the thumbnail, it's literally the whole podcast. That's how it looks. I'm sorry if you guys like moving images like last time. And yeah, so that's about it. Let's get into the podcast. That's not to half toodles, not toodles. First things first, are you guys still fans of endurance or not? Let's start with that. Who here still actually likes endurance with what they're doing so far?
Yo, give me a minute, Chedic.
Okay, take your time. Flipper?
Me. Of course, I love endurance.
I feel like you're the only one actually still clearing it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying endurance. I don't mind.
What about you, Orthow? How do you still feel about endurance?
I don't mind the changes.
I prefer if it was working the way it's intended, but
what do you mean by that? As in the spawns?
Yeah, if they said they were gonna have them by 11.10 fixed, and obviously we're still dealing with Beach North, so I like that they did tier 5 mats. Like I'll take tier 5 mats and Beach North if I have to. I mean, it sucks I gotta basically make that compromise, but I'll take it, because tier 5 was a much needed 3-month wait holdover for. So
and how do you feel about endurance, Robs?
Yeah, I guess for me, I'm sort of a bit bored of it, but it's still a good mode. If you haven't played it to the extent of some of us have, then I guess it's still an enjoyable mode and fun mode.
And Underwater Smurf, how do you feel about endurance at this time?
Hello. Well, at this time, yeah, obviously the spawn, this mess, they need to sort it out. But as a mode, it has its. I mean, it's a really fun mode, which has its problems as well, if we put it this way.
And I would like to ask Allura, but he is currently deafened, so I guess we'll get started with the first topic. So, lava bomb manipulation. Yay or nay? I think personally, lava bomb manipulation is a problem, because I didn't learn about it when I was first playing endurance. It took me a while to actually understand it, but only then I was actually just told by an outside source. There's no way for any players to actually know about it in game, and I feel if they don't add features to it to know when it's coming, or to let us know how it works, that they should outright just remove it from the game. Because lava bombs control certain tunnels. I believe Pit and Devil West, they are both tunnels that if you don't know how to shift the lava bomb, they are almost near impossible to build properly and have a easy flowing tunnel. What do you guys think? I'll start with Orthow.
Well, first off, we remove lava bombs, it's gonna make that mode even easier.
Fair.
And I kind of like the fact that you have to build around sort of like, okay, here's the problem. The fact that we can actually manipulate the lava bomb is part of the problem. Like, if we couldn't manipulate it, if we were just forced to build around a 4-tile radius wherever it landed, 3 tile up, 3 out, 3 tile over to block it when it's lobbers and whatnot, like, we would just do it. But it's the fact that a lot of builds are reliant on holding the lava ball in a certain place that makes it go for a bad situation if, like, say, a smasher decides to take out some of your walls. So I don't know, that part of it sucks. Like, I don't know, the fact that if you manipulate it and then your build goes bad, then yeah, you're kind of stuck. You're gonna be dealing with a bad situation. But if we don't have any lava ball, I mean, can you imagine how easy the builds would be?
They would be
like
incredibly
literally,
easy.
like it would be kind of insane. Like they would just all be straight shots. You could do almost anything you'd want, and
They'd be much like Candy.
We pretty much are already there. You know what I mean? Like we've done so many different crazy builds on every different amp that Lava Ball has it. Like, I mean, it does suck. You're right for new players and they don't understand the mechanic. But hey, can I be honest with you?
Go ahead.
I didn't know about the Lava Ball even existing, being a manipulator, any of that for the first probably 1 month of me playing Endurance.
Same.
I'll be quite honest. I had somebody basically tell me that, hey, look, you can move this. And I was like, oh, really? And they're like, yeah. So if you want to do a build, like that's when my build started advancing, when somebody was like, yo, you can actually manipulate this and add to your tunnels. But for a month, like we all cleared it before. Like, I don't know if anybody came right in off the hop and was like, let's manipulate this and build our tunnels. Like, I think it was a little while before everybody figured that trick out. And
okay.
So I understand what you're saying there, like, because we just didn't know.
Flipper, what do you think about lava bombs, considering you're the Beach North leader? You have 2 of them.
Well, I don't ship lava bombs because that's not one of my fortes. I don't do block offs because that's not one of my fortes. So I just stick to what I know. And of course, I appreciate if somebody knows how to do it. For example, on my pit build, it's really nice that I have that. But I adjust to everything. If they take it away, then they take it away. I don't mind.
Okay. Underwater Smurf, how do you feel about lava bombs?
As a concept, if we just look at the concept, I really love it. The idea that here's the space you can build. You can build on the left or the right, but you can't have both. So it kind of limiting, but then you get more options in how to use the space. But of course, the way it's implemented, so that nobody really understands how to do it, and the game doesn't tell you that you can do it, that's really bad. I didn't know about it either before Endurance. I had spent the spring doing Twine 10 over and over again with different builds, but I never knew about this, and I think pretty much nobody knew it before Endurance. So, but I'm not really sure how this could be implemented in a way that the game lets you know you can do it, and somehow that you would have control over it. At the moment, it kind of feels also random.
And it's not random, but the things that affect it. I will get more in depth with how lava bombs are affected by tiles after we hear Allura's opinion and then Rob's. Allura, how do you feel about lava bombs?
Right. So about lava bombs specifically, I have issue with the lava bomb. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that lava bombs, yes, I agree with what you guys are saying. It's that, there's an added layer of depth, you have to build around certain areas and stuff like that. My main issue with the lava bomb is that lava bombs kill bosses. Okay, and my issue with that specifically is because, in my personal opinion, this is probably going to lead into the AFK endurance solution, but I've been saying that I want bosses to be something that is engaging players, meaning players have to deal with the bosses. Like, for example, bosses one-shotting the amplifier, or you have like some kind of time to kill thing to kill the boss. If you don't kill the boss, then you lose the wave.
I think we'll talk more about bosses. That'll be like an added subject that we can talk about, which would be really nice. But I think we're just trying to focus
specifically for the lava. Yeah, the bosses itself, I feel like that's the problem, right? I don't like the lava bomb killing bosses.
Yeah.
So other than that, though, the specific thing of having the lava bombs being able to have players build here and there and stuff like that, I think it's nice, but I really couldn't care about it if they took it away, right? I personally feel like, for me, I want to focus a lot more about the tunnel designs themselves, how to optimize them, as compared to something that is sometimes working and sometimes not working in your favor, with the lava balls shifting back and forth and one-shotting tanks or bosses for you or not.
Like Ridge. Like I think I was picturing it as like Ridge. If you don't have like a proper lava bomb there, it's just make or break. One thing happens with that lava bomb, your tunnel's broken. Now, last one, Robs. How do you feel about lava bombs?
Yeah, I'd probably just echo what you guys are saying. I think they're good, but I'm not too sure about them being able to sort of be moved is a good thing, because you're going to have a lot of sort of players that maybe aren't engaged with Twitch and the Twitch community that have no idea about moving or shifting the bombs. But at the same time, I think probably want them there so players can't just spawn trap, because I think a lot of the bombs are placed over the spawns, which obviously, like Allura said, though, that has the problem with the bosses being killed, but it does stop the spawns from being just gas trapped.
Okay, so now let's talk about how lava bombs work. Everyone knows that floor pieces shift lava bombs. Did you guys also know that, according to Ty, one more thing, that the level of walls and stuff shift lava bombs? That and ramp pieces also shift lava bombs, so you can have a combination of floor pieces and ramp pieces in order to shift your lava bombs. So lava bombs have too much depth in order to shift them that I think it shouldn't work like that. I feel like only floor tiles should shift lava bombs, and it should be pretty easy to know. Like if there was like a set design, like a 5x5 grid, right, and the lava bomb lands in a 2x3 or a 2x2 or a 2x1, that would be nice. And you players can force it into that area to shift the lava bomb wherever they want. And Epic makes changes to the map all the time. They do it undercover. I've seen them change the map. They've added more lava to the map to change the out of bounds maps. So it's pretty easily possible for them to change how lava bombs work or change how the terrain works to work around lava bombs. So I'm hoping that they can change the areas where lava bombs spawn and the way they work. Because otherwise people aren't going to notice that all these factors play a part. I bet none of you here probably knew that roof pieces or pyramid pieces affect lava bombs. I feel like if they can just narrow it down to a certain tile moving the lava bombs and then explain how it works, that would be fun and would add a lot more depth to a lot more tunnels. So everyone won't have just like a ridge situation where almost every tunnel is identical. And I think that would be nice. So if we can move it to the left and possibly areas without 2 lava bombs, that's just insane. So what do you guys think of that? Let's start with Rob's.
Yeah, I agree with what Smurf said earlier. If they could implement something into it that's sort of like it shows you clearly that you can build here and the bomb's going to go this side, or you can build here and the bomb's going to go that side. And like you say, maybe use floor pieces only to manipulate the bomb. And then it adds a bit more sort of variety to endurance. So not everyone's going to have the same builds, because maybe someone will think, oh, on the bomb on the left, or you can have it on the right. So it's, yeah, but I think the complexity using, like you say, floor pieces, pyramids, all these things to manipulate the bomb, for your average player, they're just going to have no idea, really.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. Moving on to Allura. We'll just go like in the opposite direction. What do you think of like if like the lava bomb was in a more controlled area than as random as people say it is?
Yeah, I would be honestly fine with it. If anything else, I think the so-called complexity or difficulty should come from the tunnel design as compared to understanding how the lava ball works, because it's not clear, especially to players who, don't watch YouTube or don't watch Twitch.
Okay, I think that's pretty good. And Flipper, how do you feel about it? I feel like after this subject, I think we'll just leave it open-ended for lava bomb speech, like anything in chat, because like I think like saying each one, giving them a turn to speak is kind of a little annoying. So I'll just let people flow on to each other if that's okay with you guys.
No, actually, I think this is good that you give the time to talk one by one, so it's not gonna be. Yeah, I think this is good.
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
don't mind
as
structure.
for me,
you don't mind? Okay, all right, cool.
So yeah, it's much more
Okay,
better for people to also to listen to this. So, but yeah, lava bombs, as I said, if they take them away, it's fine. If they move them, it's fine. Yes, I agree. I don't want it to be too much of a hassle. I would rather, like Allura said, focus on the trap tunnel, because that's the thing that I'm more interested in, not because of some random lava bomb hitting something and wasting my material, because I hate waste. So that's my opinion.
I think we're all in agreement with the lava bomb now. I think we all want the same thing for it, just a position where it's easily controllable and not something that can be manipulated heavily. If you guys want to continue to talk about lava bombs, I'm down. But underwater,
I could add. Yeah, I could add. I mean, does it necessarily have to be shifted by placing building pieces? If that's what I meant, there should be some mechanic, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. If they could do something completely different, then it could maybe be more clear even than you have to have notice that you have exactly this floor piece to shift it.
Yeah,
which is kind of seems kind of weird. And also, of course, the current mechanic has the downside that when you shift it, if a tile, something is destroyed during the defense, this might shift the bomb again, which can be seen as a good thing or a bad thing.
Okay. Anyone else have anything to add for lava bombs?
The only thing I add is sorry, go ahead, Laura. Go ahead.
No, I think that one easy solution is to simply just have them mark where the lava balls would end up, and so that would be potential spot here, because right now people don't really know, it's not marked in any way, and that's it. So people can choose to build over one or build over the other. That's it.
So like a system where everything is, so instead of like when we're building our endurance, while we're building, instead of like the lava bomb having down, it's just like a hologram of the lava bomb. So where you can see what affects it, that would be nice too.
Yeah, like leave the target on the ground. So,
yeah,
maybe leave like
so we don't have to trigger it every 30 seconds. We can just see it and build around it.
Yeah, which is
use something like retrieve the data. You know how they have the big red thing coming down?
Yeah, the hologram.
Yeah, exactly.
You know clearly where it's going to be, and there could be like an option to say you can switch it here or switch it there.
That would be that would actually solve a lot of lava bomb problems. In fact, I didn't think about that at all, and I would love that.
It would take a lot of the time out of just building in general, having to spawn your lava every.
You would have to run away.
Yeah, we've all done it a million times. Like, that would go out the window. We wouldn't need to do that.
It'd be so much more simple.
Make building a lot easier. What I was also going to suggest is, what if, because like, if you think about it, this is basically a raid mechanic because it's introduced at the very end of the game. What if they introduced lava bombs into late stage Twine when they do Twine rework and we probably get more lava?
I hope
in
they
our
add lava
tile
bombs to
set.
that.
But you know what I mean? Like, because then that would introduce players to them, and if they still allow them to be manipulated, because whatever it is what it is. You could practice in a regular mission and just see what it does on wood, and you'd get to know it a lot more than, oh wow, what is this new surprise mechanic in endurance, and how the hell do I deal with it? You'd already have seen it in missions, so it wouldn't be that big of a, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
People are that much concerned.
Do that.
Plus, it would bring a little life to the missions to do something different.
And is that about all? We good on lava bombs? Nice.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of want to talk about AFK endurance, but I do want to talk more about the amplifiers first. So, let's talk about the unreasonable amplifier spawns, like the North category, Double North, and Beach North. I think Beach North has been confirmed to be removed, or maybe they'll remove WAMP, but I'm placing my hopes on them removing Beach North because, well, 2 lava bombs on top of 2 spawns is not something I find interesting. So, I'm saying if they remove Beach North, then we want to talk about it, but Devil North. After the recent changes with us not being allowed to place 4 traps on the underground land without the glitch, they're patching those glitches, and eventually they'll patch all forms of those glitches. They patched the out of bounds one, and they patched the easy triangle police one. And now there's a third one, but I'm assuming that'll be patched too. How do you guys feel about Devil North being unreasonable after these patches? Unless like us old players with our floor traps already, we can handle it, but after that there's no more room for creativity, and then Devil North is just going to be rocket launcher spam heaven. If you don't have rockets, then you can't win endurance. What do you guys think about that? Underwater, go first.
Yeah, I took mine out already to test it, and it's not as bad as you make it sound, I think. I mean, I didn't do full runs yet, but from what I saw, it works pretty well. It didn't make a big difference. It puts like the demand on your tunnel that you have to have a design so that nobody wants to path down there.
On the right, right?
Yeah.
So you just have a straight line on the left, right?
Pretty much, yeah, but with some recycling, and it like so far,
What
well, at least,
wave? What wave have you gotten on that?
I only tested with wave 5 and 6, so I've seen both of those.
That's
It's actually not. I mean, if I think about how wave 6 used to look at hill back in the days, and compared to the later waves, 6 already is.
well.
But of course, yeah, I know 6 is the only guaranteed wave at the moment. But the later waves, sure, they're tougher, but once again, at least I have a build that nobody goes there, so it doesn't matter that much.
I'm glad you found a solution, but I haven't been able to find a high wave solution yet. No matter what I do on the left side, I will always like. I don't want to do just a straight line because that just rips away all creativity. I want to build something with all of the area, but I can't because of how they always. No matter if I add even more than a straight line on the left side, everything's just gonna path to the right no matter what length it is. If there's even one turn on the left side of Devil North, everything is going to path to the right, and that's it. And then it's horrible because I can't put floor traps, I can't put wall traps. I could put like a wall dart, a broadside, and be done with it, and then gas traps. But then after eventually, because they're going to be nerfing gas traps, maybe that won't even be enough for that side. So if I do what you say and just do a straight line, and then test it in the high waves, you'll still have to fight, which is nice. You have to play and pick up the controller and fight Devil North instead of just AFKing. It'd be a nice anti-AFK feature, but it'd be too tedious.
Sorry if I may say, I've always had a straight line on the left, right?
You
on
did?
the left side. Yeah, I've always had a straight line on the left. And,
Yeah, same here.
Wow,
and
you guys are crazy.
I've done it with wave 21.
I was gonna-
AFK, no
Sorry,
problem.
Yeah, I was gonna
interrupt,
back
but
him up.
Are we here to
Oh, yeah, go
discuss
ahead.
strategy?
Are we here to discuss strategy?
Yeah.
We're here to discuss how Devil North is just garbage, in my opinion. I don't
think it's that bad. Like,
You guys don't think it's that bad?
Have you seen my Devil North? It's a joke. Bro.
What?
It's literally
I'm gonna
6
throw a
tons.
fit.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, exactly. Like Allura's got the right idea here. We don't need to worry about.
Yeah.
You guys are fine with it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like it sucks you can't build through the terrain, but yeah, I removed my traps under the terrain as soon as I found out that they said we couldn't do it no more.
I'm embarrassed. Better Dick can't build Devil North.
Chedic. Oh, you're funny.
Oh man.
No, it's not that bad. I don't think it's anything we need to concern ourselves with.
We
You know what
don't?
I mean,
That's what
everybody
you think?
experiences it. Well, I mean, what are we gonna do? Say ban Devil North? Like we
Not
pull it
ban
like a
Devil
map
North, just
in,
change the terrain
Call
a
of
little.
Duty?
Okay, well,
No, okay, yeah. If we had the ability to build through terrain, like they do in BR, like yeah, we'd be completely fine because that obstruction wouldn't be blocking any of us. We could
Okay,
build some
okay.
crazy tunnels.
well, if the majority of
I personally
oh, go ahead,
believe
Allura.
that at the end of the day, they intended for this to be a 4-player thing. I think a lot of us are like right now, a lot of us who are approaching this to the idea that we're going to try to like solo this or be like, come up with some insane trap tunnel where we can just like do minimal work with it. But if we have 4 players, when you have like a half decent tunnel, you're actually fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta go with Allura on this one.
I guess Devil North is
Yeah, I
fine.
agree with that as well, to be fair.
Oh, wow, everyone. Okay, I'm in the minority. I hate Devil North. I just.
Although I would,
Chedic's like
say,
4-player solo sucks on Devil North. Let me just tell you.
It
I
does
would say
though.
if
Go
we're
ahead,
talking
Ross.
about like scaling up content and making it harder, then Devil North's okay at the moment. But say if you get a random wave there, and the husks are a lot higher PL, suddenly it could become a problem later on. Say if we did want to have sort of tankier husks and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't think endurance will ever be endless. So I don't know if there maybe a challenge mode endurance where everything is just like double the power level. That'd be understandable, and then it'd be harder
That'd be
there.
nuts.
But I guess I'll just go back to the drawing board on Devil North. Okay, and I guess that's the only unreasonable spawn because we all know about Beach North, and Beach
Yeah,
North is just
that's supposed to be fixed.
yeah
It's on the Trello.
on the Trello.
So
Yeah,
it'll be
so
fixed.
nothing we could say about that.
But I have to say, I wish they could have that kind of like I know we're gonna talk about maps, but again, I love Beach North. I don't mind it. So I wish I could choose what to have and what not to have. But yeah.
That'd be fun. Okay, so I guess that's about it for the unreasonable amplifier spawn subject. I just thought I'd be in agreement. I thought people would actually. I didn't know you guys were just professionals at Denver North. I'm sorry. Let me just excuse myself from that. We'll go on to AFK endurance. I personally do not think AFK endurance should be possible, and I'm pretty sure we're all in agreement that it shouldn't be a possible thing. And yeah, let's talk about that. So, how do you guys feel about AFK endurance, Allura?
Right. So personally, for me, I know some of you guys really love AFKing for rewards and stuff like that. I will probably say no. You know, I don't like it to be like that. I don't want endurance to be a fucking AFK fest. I want to be engaged. So, you know, I have solutions that I would like to propose. I'm not sure if you want to hear it now, but I already mentioned it earlier.
No,
So,
that's what the podcast is all about. Please do.
Okay, so in my personal opinion of trying to get players engaged during endurance, right, is to make their like checkpoints. So one of these checkpoints could really easily be bosses, and either number one, the bosses when they reach your amplifier, they destroy your amplifier and you lose, or number two, you have supposed to kill the boss within a certain amount of time within the frame of the wave. So these have to come together with other prerequisites, things like the health of the boss has to be rescaled to the point where it actually is killable, because right now it's too spongy, no one bothers killing it. Number two, we're not allowed to CC the boss, because like you can't just bull rush it. You are not allowed to edit or build during this phase as well, because people were just going to build walls around it over and over again and kite it, or they're just going to edit the floor and it fall into the lava, and then that's it. That's your wave. All right, and then or on the wave 30 you guys have seen, you know, people just put walls and manipulate their AI and then bounce them on the guys and they just go up and down. All right, so I feel like these things need to be addressed if we want to have a more engaging kind of gameplay. So yeah, no CC. The bosses teleporting is also an issue as well if we go with this particular solution, because the teleporting right now is very inconsistent, right? Sometimes they fall down and then they teleport straight into your amplifier, and then you would probably lose if this was a thing. So if they would try and fix this, you know, if they were to teleport, they would just have to try and teleport back to where they were.
I feel like just removing teleporting.
Yeah, I'll just remove teleporting altogether. I think they only put teleporting in there as some kind of a safeguard, you know, in the case where the boss gets stuck. Because we've seen the bosses when they get stuck, sometimes when they cannot move, they despawn, right? So I think it's like some kind of a fail-safe sort of thing, but it's been seen to be, you know, a little bit disadvantageous for players when they do that kind of shit as well. Just teleport straight into our base and bypass all our traps.
Wow, saying just remove bosses. Flipper, how do you feel about?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, not done.
You're done? Okay. Flipper, how do you feel about AFK endurance? In the game or not? And do you have any counteractions to AFK endurance?
Well, there is already now, as you've already said, that Beach. Like I've never AFK'd endurance. My tunnels need babysitting, and I have to be there at that place, and that's not why I play this game. I play this game because I want to see the tunnels working. I don't mind standing at the tunnel and see it working. That's not for me AFKing. Even though I'm just standing there, I'm actually watching and seeing and guarding, and that's not AFKing. Like AFKing for me is not actually doing anything. Like not
AFKing
not
is
you're not in
going to the
even
console, starting it up, and then going back to spawn and leaving, going to something.
Yeah.
I know when we play endurance, we all sit on our amplifiers and we all babysit, but that's not AFKing. That's us actively playing endurance. AFKing is the act of literally doing nothing and making it to some people claim 24 and stuff. Because of when.
So
oh, sorry.
Yeah. So I don't agree with AFKing. I think this is not a game mode for that. You can have other game modes for that, but I wouldn't ruin my dear endurance with AFKing. So yeah, I'm not
a fan. Do you have any solutions to AFK endurance? Because when Beach North does get removed, AFK endurance will come back. And it will be abused like it was before.
Well, then I wish they implement something that it's not possible, because that's not the reason why I would be playing this game. Like, I wouldn't then, if that would be possible, I wouldn't use it myself. I mean, there will always be people who will think about clever ways to AFK and do other things. That's like, I don't think it's even possible to take away all the AFK ways to do it, but I mean, I wouldn't still do it. So I don't know. There, like, I don't know if there's a failsafe to remove all the AFK, because there's always going to be smart people who will figure out a way to do it. So
I think Alicious said something good, but I'll remember that, and then I'll talk about it in a second. Ortho, how do you feel about AFK endurance, and do you have any ways to counteract it and to make it something that people?
All right. Well, I'll be the oddball here. Personally, it makes no difference to me. If people want to AFK it, that's their own base. Like, they put the time into it. I don't care if they want to blow up their own tunnels, rebuild them every time, or if they want to sit there and do nothing and go like have a snack and some popcorn. That's cool as long as they do it on their own time. Like, that's not like I have to be bothered by it. But if you want to have an answer for it, it's simple. Just put random waves in. The reason it's AFKable right now is because we have a spreadsheet that lets us know exactly which wave happens when, and we can just basically plan for it. If it was all random, the bosses came whenever, wherever, UFO came whenever, wherever, could you imagine? Have fun AFK in that.
I wouldn't have fun with endurance at all at that point.
Well, I'm just saying, hey, it would make it, well, for me, it'd make it a lot more interesting.
It would
It gets
be
a little
more
lame following a spreadsheet.
It does. I do follow that spreadsheet like the back of my hand.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
And everybody knows the way. After like 10 runs, everybody knows the waves off by heart anyway, and they're already running there 30 seconds ahead of time, and it's like, well,
that's true.
You remember the first couple times we were playing this and we didn't have a spreadsheet and we didn't know where we were going?
No, you're like, oh god, Devil North. Gotta go.
You're just hauling ass like, am I even gonna make it there? Yeah. Like, I miss that feeling. Like, I don't know, playing on the edge a little bit.
So some people are saying whoever builds correctly, they deserve the rewards. I think that it's just a personal opinion that you shouldn't be rewarded.
It's like war games, right? Like, I didn't care about AFK war games. Like, if people did that on their own dime, like, let them do them. I'm not affected by it. It's not like a PvP game. They're not gaining anything over me. They're not getting more like anything. So I don't know. That's my own opinion. That's just my own thing, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to pass that on anybody else. I'm just saying, like, for me, I'll play the devil's advocate on this one.
No, I appreciate that. All right, Rob.
I don't think that's against what everybody else was saying here, because they were just asking. The question was about what do we feel personally about AFK.
Yeah, you answered perfectly. Yeah. I wanted opinions on it before. Like, I talk about my personal opinion. Rob's.
Yeah, I sort of agree with Ortho, but I sort of agree with Allura at the same time, because I've actually done quite a bit of my fair share of AFKing, which I don't mind. It's not really affecting anybody else, but that's also because I've played the game so much. So I just thought, I'll just whack the game on, get some free rewards, happy days. It's not hurting anybody, you know. But then I sort of do agree with Allura that sort of state of the game wise, it might just be better to put in some bosses that one shot the amp, that's game over. It's going to stop AFKing completely.
And UWUSMURF. I'll talk about the problems of AFK in a bit.
Yeah, I've also done my fair share of AFKing, but it's been most of the time it's because, I mean, if I want to test some tunnels, I want to test the UFO wave, then I have to get there somehow. And the first waves, there's not much going on, so turn it on and come back later, see where we are and check it. And I think that's like the structure of this mode, that it's 2.5 hours long, and the waves get progressively harder. So if you have a build that is built to hold up for the late waves, then it's like by default the early waves are AFKable. And there's been some good ideas here how to deal with it, and I actually really like this to have the war game simulations random, so you can get for example UFO on different ways and so on. That would already help a lot. And there are others in Canny Valley. The hotspots wave, actually, at least for me, when it can come from 3 different directions, and some of them completely destroy tunnels, others not. So it also makes it kind of random, adds this bit of randomness to AFK, which of course then requires that you attend to it if it happens and so on. So yeah, that could help.
All right, so back to me. I think AFK is a problem. Multiple reasons. First reason is if all a player does is play AFK endurance and gain a surplus amount of rewards, they'll eventually just be bored with the game and have no reason to play anything else. They'll just log on, do AFK endurance, wait for the guns, upgrade everything, and be done with it. I think if they keep on playing that, players will be less and less engaged with the game, and they'll just like eventually quit it saying there's no content. But is there really no content if you just sit around and AFK endurance all the time? I feel like, and then more and more players will leave the matchmaking pools. We won't have people in public lobbies. We won't have people doing anything anymore. Everyone will just sit in their SSDs like with war games. I think it's a huge problem doing that, and I don't want people to do that again, because then after, you know, when Beach North is removed, it's just another wave of AFK endurance players copying everyone's tunnels and just grinding a huge amount of rewards. And if everyone's doing that, then what would Epic do in a way to stop it? Will they go the jump way and just straight up nerf endurance rewards again? Or will they just add things to stop AFK? I think if AFK grows and grows and grows, they will do something stupid with it, and they'll nerf endurance and make it less playable, less enjoyable, less lucrative for the rest of us. And maybe like what they did with 1-2-20 again, the rewards will just be even decreased further. And I don't like that. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about what I just said? Flipper. Oh, Flipper not here? Oh.
I'm just shocked about what you said. Playing endurance in public lobbies.
No. Not playing endurance in public lobbies. Players who are just sitting in their endurance lobbies, not doing like the legendary 4x perk missions. They'll just be in their endurance alone, just doing nothing, when they could be engaged with the game, playing like a deliver the bomb 4x for some legendary perk up, actually enjoying their time instead of having the game open watching a YouTube video. Like, I understand the people who are like, I'm doing homework, let me AFK endurance. Yeah, that's cool and all. That's cool and all. But I don't want them to just log on to the game and AFK, because a lot of players will do that. Like, a lot of players did it for war games, and if it's just as easy as war games, then you're damn sure that it'll happen for endurance. So.
Well, like I've said, I wish they could see endurance as like a mission. So, because I'm spending so much time in endurance, I don't have time to do missions. I don't have time to. I mean, if they would change it, so you would gain, for example, this week you could get drops of rain, or this day you could get this and this. Like, for example, like war games, they could change them like to daily rewards or something. Then people would probably be doing more endurance, because the rewards would be changing like every week or every day or something like that. So that would probably help with people getting bored of it. And about the whole AFK thing, I have to say the only AFKing I would do is because I was in desperate need of metal and I had to do some recycling, so I will admit to that. But I mean that's that. I agree with Orthow. It's my base. I can do it. I can do with my base whatever I want. I've built it. I've spent so much time fixing it and trying to get it better, that it's not gonna die all the time. So why not like take the rewards, because I've been spending so much time building it. So yeah, I don't know, but I don't think that's actually AFKing. Like, the whole word AFK is being misused sometimes. So, but yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay. Robs?
What am I responding to? Sorry.
Oh, you forgot. All right, I can't repeat that. I'm sorry. I'll move on to
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
underwater.
Yeah, I think it's like an inherent problem just in the mission structure.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people in chat were saying.
Yeah, that like if you, it's a huge build to run endurance, and it's a very big task to run it once. And but then when you run it once, you can run it infinite amount of times. And to balance the rewards for this, so that it's rewarding for those who do it the first time, but then you can keep doing it over and over, it creates a big problem. And in war games, I mean, it was they kind of fixed the rewards, so they are now more in line with what you should get when you do nothing. But then, of course, it's not really worth doing them anymore. So it's like they should have designed this completely differently. But we heard some good suggestions for how it could be done, like fix the bosses, possibly add more randomness into it to make it require that you're involved and playing.
Laura? Or same thing?
Yeah. So I personally feel like people wouldn't be having all that time to sit around. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you guys bring up a fair point that it's your base, you guys can do whatever the hell you want. And yeah, maybe, you know, AFKing really shouldn't be something that we should be like super concerned with, because, you know, you do whatever the hell you want in your base, right?
Yeah.
But what I am thinking is that if you can AFK in your base for, let's say, 300 legendary perk up, but if endurance wasn't locked down to the current state where it would only be the same thing over and over again at the same levels, where you could actually unlock a new level, and then that new level will grant you better rewards, then why would you want to sit around and AFK for 300 legendary perk up when you could possibly get 400 legendary perk up in the next level? Alright, so like people were saying in chat also, it's the whole effort and reward thing, right? If you wanted to AFK, you could AFK for a particular amount of reward, but if you actually wanted to play and be actively engaged, then the amount of reward also would rise, because then you would be able to pass further levels. So, you know, it's definitely going to be different, right? If you're actively playing versus if you're fully AFK. If the amount of rewards is exactly the same, then why the fuck would
It's okay, it's okay.
Why would I spend the effort when I can spend zero effort and get the same rewards, right? So that's what I personally feel. If endurance wasn't just fixed to just, you know, 332 mobs or whatever the heck it is, and it actually unlocked new levels every time, it would give you better stuff every time, then the players who wanted to continue pushing for better rewards could do so, and the players who was okay, who are just sitting around with lesser rewards AFKing, then they could do so. But they have to bear in mind that they are spending that 2 hours getting 300 legendary perk up, whereas somebody who's actively playing could be getting maybe 720 legendary perk up for the same amount of time. And then you have the whole time versus reward and effort thing being addressed.
I like that. Is there anyone I missed about this topic? I would say no. Well, that's about it for AFK endurance. There's another thing I want to talk about, but it kind of comes at us as creators, but I don't think it's important. I feel like what's actually important, I feel like we should talk about important things, is the longevity of endurance. People have been talking about new maps and stuff. I personally think that instead of new maps, like Allura said, you know, difficulty, just add more difficulty to Canny, Stonewood, and Plankerton. Not like change the map design, but like, you know, instead of just launching up Stonewood Endurance, you launch up Stonewood Endurance Prestige, and it's just like Twine level difficulty but with Stonewood map, and you could build up for that. You could earn a Prestige Twine Endurance, not Twine Endurance, Prestige Stonewood banner, and you could do that instead of just, you know, having a dead map, because every high level player is not gonna do Stonewood or Plankerton. I mean, the occasional player will do Canny for that guaranteed perk up, but like, you know, I don't think that's fun. And I think if like Stonewood, Plankerton, and Canny actually had some challenge behind it, I would play it a lot more, or I would probably want to build it. Like, oh, what you're doing today? Oh, I'm doing Twine Endurance? Oh yeah, you did that yesterday. Do something else. Try Stonewood Endurance, but with harder difficulty. And a difficulty that's not AFK. I think the trap changes would do that. Alright, what do you think about that, Orthow?
Yeah, I'm 100% solid with that. I'd take Twine difficulty on. I've never built the other 3 endurances because they're not a high enough difficulty to really bother with for me. I've got obviously the banners from somebody else's base, but yeah, I wasn't wasting the materials. But if they had an option where I could click and just say Twine difficulty, please, I would 100% do all of them, and I'd have a good time doing them. Like, you know what I mean? It'd pose 3 new challenges in 3 new areas that I've not built for since when I first started playing the game. And that'd probably be the easiest way and the fastest way we could get some end game content in here.
It really would be. Just increase the power level.
I like, right? Like, how hard? Like, I'm not a dev. I'm not gonna sit here and try to play like I am, and I know how long that would take. But I gotta imagine it would be a lot shorter than developing full-on content.
Yeah.
And we already know that Endurance has a cult following. It has a lot of people that like it. A lot of people that play it different ways, enjoy testing new things, whole different stuff. So if we had 3 completely new maps to mess around in, like, no one ever discusses how to beat Plankerton or how to, you know what I mean? I've
Just
never heard
gas trap,
anybody say
gas
like
trap broadside.
Stonewood. Anybody got strats for Stonewood Endurance? Like, you know what I mean? And that'd be great if we could, but there's no point. But if there was obviously a newfound difficulty, we would all have whole new things to discuss and build for, new waves, new everything. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So yeah, that's my.
I think
my 2
fishing
cents.
would be good too. Fish while you're AFK endurance. I'd be pretty cool with that. Underwater Smurf. How do you feel about that topic? And
Yeah, I totally.
I'm sorry.
I totally agree. I also think, or was going to suggest this already when you said that you will have an endurance podcast, that we should be able to do the lower zones at the higher difficulty. But what they also could add in the lower zones, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't allow us to change our amplifier positions after Twine 10 for endurance, because there's always empty amplifiers, so then we could try different setups. And if they did this, they could finally also activate those 2 amplifiers in Canny that nobody ever has been able to place. So bring in those, give us the option to defend those. I'm guessing they have spawns for them done since the amplifiers are there. And yeah, this could add even more variety to it. Of course,
Rob.
right now,
sorry.
if you want to try more spawns, you have to buy a new account, so it's good money for them, but how many people do that? I don't know.
I mean, I did it, but I regret it.
Me too.
Robs, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I completely agree. I've been an advocate of new maps for endurance for quite a while now, and I think, like you said, the having Stonewood, Plankton, and Canny, that would be a good sort of starting point.
Mhm.
But I also think it's a little bit lazy because they're not designed for endurance, especially high PL husks and whatnot. So I think introducing new maps maybe like once every 4 months or something, just to give us enough time to sort of squeeze out all the life out of each map before we move on to a next one.
I feel like
suggestion.
New maps. I think on Reddit I saw that there's an occasional like data leakage because people have gotten their maps just completely wiped, and I don't know what causes that, and I don't know how much money it would cost to store another whole community of builds. I know it's not locally saved. I'm pretty sure it's online saved, so whenever you're playing at any other place, you could just play your endurance map, play your version of Stonewood. So I'm a little bit on the fence with them adding new maps because I'm cheap, and I know companies are cheap, and I know they probably wouldn't give us the space for a whole new map. That's why, you know, Fortnite's procedurally generated quotation marks, and I think it'd be cool. But it's wishful thinking is what I'm trying to say. If they would add more maps. Flipper, what do you think of the idea of adding Stonewood, Canny, and Plankerton at higher difficulty?
I like it. I'll take it all. I'll take all the broken maps or anything they can give me, because as you know, I will take anything that they have. I mean, it's not like that's only the small solution. Like I think you already had in the notes for discussion about like adding modifiers, taking away some modifiers, having like an easy map for starter endurance players, having a more difficult map for I'm saying map, but I actually mean the same map, but like changing the modifiers or changing the waves like from 1 to 10, or doing endurance for 1 to 10, or doing endurance from 15 to 20, or something like that.
Oh, like
so there's so many
sectioning it.
options you could have. Yeah. So I mean, having this like because you have to have like a starter endurance. Like people won't do it if it's too difficult. Like I've progressed a lot since like when I began. I had so much explosions happening in the beginning. I was failing all the time. I could barely get to wave 5. So I mean, that's going to teach you also to play endurance, because you have to do it multiple times. In my opinion, you have to do multiple times in order to learn all the mechanics and all the stuff that is like, you can watch YouTube videos, it's fine. You can watch Twitch and you can watch people do it. But I personally have learned the best when I've done it myself. And I also, with the building, I've learned the best. Like I know what I build. And so yeah, but I agree that that would be a good solution, like a quick solution. But yeah, I think, as somebody said, it would be lazy. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I would take that. I don't mind the broken maps. I don't mind them switching, because in my opinion, I've already done like 5 different endurances, because those maps have been changing, and that's why I'm still doing endurance. If they wouldn't have changed those maps or have those kind of broken endurance things happening, I don't know if I would be doing it. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Right. And Allura, what do you think about that? Would you actually stoop down to the Stonewood Plankerton Canyon area?
To me, it's just a map, and wherever you have the map, if there's challenge down there, I'll go. So yes, I do agree with the idea, and I do like it. In fact, what I would also think as well, just to add on a little bit to, I think, was it Flipper or Robs? I can't remember who was mentioning earlier. I'm a little bit stoned right now, but when it comes to wait, what? Yes, when it comes to the endurance, right? Like you were mentioning earlier, there's like the you were thinking of like if you complete one, you unlock the next level, prestige 1, 2, 3, right? Have it such that if you unlock, like say for example, prestige 1 and 2, would have one particular layout, and then prestige 3 and 4, would have like a different rotating amount of layouts where you get attacked from different positions. And then maybe if you go to like prestige 5 and 6, maybe instead of getting only 1 amp attack, you get like 2 amp attacks, right? That kind of thing. And yeah, the the other Stonewood, throughout all those things, it's basically, like Rob mentioned, yes, unfortunately, it is going to be a so-called like lazy way, for them to be doing things. But not just Stonewood, Plankerton, and Canny. How about the other ones that they have made in the past? Things like your pirate map, your Fortnite maps, your haunted houses, and all that kind of things that have been phased out. Your Survive the Storm Desert areas. Like all these were maps that were created before. They're all like vaulted, right? It's all sitting around and not doing anything. So what I would probably say is maybe, yes, Frostnight Fire, I agree, right? So why not have it such that, maybe every couple of weeks or every month or so, you would rotate and bring back one of these things, and then you would be able to play one of these like endurance style gameplay for these. And then obviously, you guys know how I really love my leaderboards. Yeah, okay, if you don't want to add a leaderboard, don't add a leaderboard, right? But allow the progression so that we can actually see within that 1 month who can push the furthest in that map, right? Like say for example, a Frostnight map came back and you could do endurance style Frostnight, right?
Isn't Frostnight
see
already?
Who can actually go that high, right? I mean, like not specifically Frostnight, but anything. Could be a pirate map, could be anything. Just play that and then push as far as you go. So yeah,
I think we should talk more about the longevity of endurance, how to keep it going. I feel like it is a core gameplay mechanic, and it does have a lifespan. I think for most people, it's for me it was like 3 months before I became absurd with it, and I no longer enjoy playing it. But I think there's ways to make it longer. Did I miss anyone on the Stonewood Plankerton anything, or did I get to everyone on that, by the way? I think with the silence, that's a yes. Does anyone have any ideas on how to, besides just increasing the difficulty, increase the longevity.
Longevity?
Yeah, make it.
Yeah. Like, okay, see, the way that I look at it right now, right? You think about certain, like other games, you know, they're like MOBAs out there. You think of your Dota, they've been using the same goddamn map for like years, and it works, right? And sure, this is not the same thing, but think about it this way: if we played like tower defense games, right? If you had your Bloons TD, your Gem TD, your Green TD, whatever TD, tower defense games type of thing that we used to play, the map itself wouldn't really change. They would stay the same. And the thing is that people kept going back because we always tried to figure out how to go further, how to be more efficient, right? There would be things like bonus waves, where players who optimize their traps or their towers would be able to kill more bonus mobs during the bonus wave and gain more resources, which would then allow them to snowball into the so-called late game. Because right now I feel like no matter how good or bad you are, as long as you hit a certain level of competency, everybody moves at the same speed. You don't gain any kind of like competitive advantage in you advancing in the game. So that would also be something that I think would be pretty nice to add. To be adding bonus waves where you fully well know that the mobs that you're sending against the player are overscaled and they probably wouldn't be able to kill every single one of them. But if your funnels are built really good, then you would be able to kill at least some of them, and the better your funnels, the more of them will die. All right, and then obviously at this point, I'll probably have to go ahead and be a broken record and say that all of these cannot be possible if floor launchers don't get fixed. Fix fudging floor launchers, please. You know, it's very important. It's been many months, many years already. Please fix it. Thank you.
All right, Flipper, any ideas for longevity?
Well, I think we already discussed those, that having more maps, having modifiers, having different kinds of endurances, have a small one, have a mini one, have a big one, have a huge 24-hour endurance. Like, I don't care, they can do whatever, but yeah, but I wouldn't personally. 2.5 hours is like, it's a long time. It's like not even a bathroom break time. So so I wouldn't like I would like it to be a little bit shorter. It could progress, like, from the husk level could go from 100 to 200 to 300, because now it's going like 5 or 10 maximum. So I would have it like shorter and sweeter, or I would have like, that would be an option. Again, I would have the basic endurance like it has been, so people will get the banner and progress and learn at the same time. But then for these hardcore players, have this kind of like a shorter and sweeter thing, because like, I think UWUSMURF said in the beginning, it's just the pain to wait until like wave 25 to see how a tunnel works on UFO wave. Like, you always have to wait like 1.5 hours to even get there. So, and yeah, we scratched already that. I mean, not scratched, but we already touched that that topic, that you could have like war games could be a way to test out different kind of tunnels with different kind of modifiers. So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities, but it just needs some thought, and everything like that has been said here has to be noted somewhere, because it won't progress without just talking about it here. It has to there needs to be something actually, like I hope there's something gets like or out of this conversation that is just not us here talking about it.
I'm pretty sure like last time, the first podcast at least, that one had developers and the community managers in it, and they listened to it and they sent it over to developers our suggestion. And that's like, I'm kind of hoping for eventually in the future that all podcasts are gonna listen to that, but that's wishful thinking. These are just this like the point of this podcast was us high level players, us players who consistently do endurance, how we feel about it, how we can go around it, and how we can make it better, or like problems, like, you know, problems that we potentially see and solutions for those problems we see. Like, there's a lot of things I would like to talk about, but I'm trying to like get over the basic ones before we move on to the more trivial problems that only certain people see at certain times. So, yeah. But yeah, let's move on from that. Orthow, any longevity ideas, baby?
Well, we covered the new maps. Here's the one thing I always thought that'd be cool. Well, also Allura mentioned or dabbled around the idea of leaderboards. I'm in full of support of having some form. See, okay, here's the idea. They initially sold this to us as endless mode, not endurance mode. Endurance got slid under the rug at the last minute when they realized they couldn't make this thing endless. I get that. We've seen it crash enough times to know that why it can't go endless. But maybe they could do something with a leaderboard with, like, say they put kill waves in. Your bases would have to kill stuff quicker in order to get through the waves faster, right? So whoever can clear an endurance the fastest, it could be a leaderboard that way, something to do with that. And if we don't do a leaderboard, that's fine. The other way we could go is make it the way War Games was originally, like I thought the way War Games was originally going to be, and give us a pile of modifiers that if we go in, we can check off like 5 to 10 of them. And the more we check off, we get a pile more rewards. Like, it just multiplies out, and the further we survive with the worst modifiers we can put on, the better we get in rewards. And it just, you know what I mean, anything from random waves to random bosses to increased UFO waves. Like, it could be the modifiers, you could have two amps hit at once. Like, the modifiers could have a whole pile of things, and the more you're willing to take on, obviously the bigger the reward pool would be, and that'd probably keep people at least trying it.
I want to talk about endless mode in a bit, but until we're done with this topic, we won't do. Because I believe endurance mode is... not endurance mode. Endless mode would be possible. As long as they fix the two major issues, which is item spawns, all the items crashing it. That's what it is. It's straight up the items.
Because it's not like they're going to put more enemies on the map. They're just going to increase the actual level of the enemies, which isn't really going to do a whole lot to the map. It's just the piles and piles of propane and ammo everywhere. But if you know how the boss in the BR Storm King, you know how he does that power move and he removes everything off the map? They need one of those in between waves.
Yeah, like on a major wave, just boom.
Yeah.
It's like
every
wave 20
or something. So you have time to go get your tier 5. Because now all of a sudden we have tier 5 mats. Before, everybody would have been like, yeah, just wipe it every wave. But now, we have tier 5 mats. So you're probably gonna want to go collect a few. But if it wiped it every 5 waves, it would be a fresh endurance every 5 waves. Like, you'd have, you know what I mean? You'd have nothing on the ground. It'd be fantastic.
I think I'm still certain on the fact that is entities on the map because of a glitchy Chris's video. I think I've mentioned this before. He spawned in like near like 200 defenders and everything just stopped working, stopped walking and all that. So as long as there's less entities on the map, clearly the game will work fine. And what do you think, Robs, of longevity? Anything you would recommend?
Yeah, it's just the combination of what we've talked about before. So I'd probably suggest progression. So you clear it one time, next time the husks are harder to kill or whatever, how it goes. Also new maps and cutting down the time from 2.5 hours probably down to about an hour. I've heard Moth talk about this a lot, and I tend to agree with him. If it was an hour long and there was progression to it as well, you'd be able to sit down, play a game of endurance, see how far you can get. If the leaderboards as well, everybody can see how far they can get on the leaderboards, how many times they can clear it and progress up through the harder husks. That's probably about it, really.
And Smurf.
Yeah, we already talked about this last week, actually, also, and I think that it's good. The first clear, I think, is good as it is now. 2.5 hour 30 ways, that's fine. But once you've done it, like, to have to start from the beginning every single time there's no point in that. So then that you could progress further and further, and there's like checkpoints. So when you get there, you get to start much later in the game. And the length, an hour and a half for this later would be fine. And other than that, I've been thinking about trying to come up with, like, how could you make some kind of I'm not going to say weekly challenges because it takes a lot of time to figure out how to build for things, but like monthly challenges or something like that would bring in something new every now and then. I just haven't been able to come up with a good concept for how this would work, but something like that could also bring longevity to it.
I think I want to talk about endless mode now and the time limit of endurance. I don't think anyone here likes the whole 2 hour and 30 minutes thing. I think that's just annoying. I think it's the worst thing in the game. And people have mentioned kill waves. Yeah, kill waves would be great. Kill waves would be fantastic. I wouldn't like how people think kill waves. Like, I would like floor launchers, as much as they don't count as a kill. If kill waves were a thing, I feel like floor launchers would have to count as a kill, because it would be great if there were kill waves in endurance, because then leaderboards would be a thing, and it'd be how fast did you clear these 30 waves. I wouldn't say make the whole thing kill waves, but you have your time waves and you have your kill waves, and on those, like, I don't know, say half is kill, half is time, how fast can you clear those kill waves so you can have the fastest endurance clearing time? That right there brings in competition, and comboed with leaderboards brings in a whole fiasco of players trying to get the best time. We already try to one-up each other's tunnels on YouTube, and we all make stronger tunnels than the last ones, so we can, you know, have like that's a sense of accomplishment for me personally. I know we do that, but if we can add that to the game, that'd be fantastic. Leaderboards and kill waves, and clearing endurance faster than just, I don't know what, 2 hours, hopefully. It'd be wonderful. And shortening the time overall would be nice. But I don't know, is it still endurance at that point? What do you guys think? Let's start with Flipper. All right, let's start with Orthow. Did I die?
Sorry, I had myself muted. Sorry, I was riding a storm.
Flipper, are we? Okay, back over to Flipper now.
I'm sorry. No, go back. I want to think about this. I'm sorry.
Okay, so do you remember the topic though, or do I have to repeat myself? We were talking about, like, you know, maybe instead of like 30 waves of time, it's like 15 waves of kill and 15 waves of time, so you could decrease your time of clearing the endurance. Along with that, leaderboards, there'd be a leaderboard thing, because, you know, Save the World, it should have leaderboards. It would be nice. How fast you clear a mission, it's nice. And with that adds competition, and it makes players want to clear endurance faster. And maybe because, I don't know, there's this very few niche players who want to be #1 or on the leaderboard, it would, like, I think it'd be very nice. Also, thank you for the raid, Ibrahim. I'll let Orthow talk about it, because I feel like Flipper, you would want to collect your thoughts. So Orthow.
All right, back to me.
Yeah.
You honestly,
I
don't know.
Scatterbrained.
Pass. We should probably pass this to somebody else. I had like something great to say, and I lost it. Great trains of thought. You know, I don't know.
Okay. Smurf.
Let me get a better thought, because this one's not good enough.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Smurf, you've talked about the kill waves before.
Actually, I haven't talked
You
about them
haven't?
at all. No, but I can talk about them now. So kill waves, yeah, that's a good idea, but it would have to be something different than like it's in SSDs, just kill X enemies. Because if it's kill X enemies, it's all about just how many traps can you put around and above the spawn.
No, much
Because
like
that's
Frost Knight, I guess, how there was like kill certain type of husk, kill
Yeah,
blasters.
exactly.
They've done
It
that
would
before.
have
They
to
could
be
do it again.
the bigger ones, mist monsters or blasters, because if it's just enemies, then it doesn't work. But yeah, if it's kill husky husks or kill smashers, kill blasters, then yeah, it could work. But I still think it's a bit weird of a concept to because it would still be a lot about just how much can you cramp spawn trapping in there.
True.
But it'd be interesting, of course.
Or maybe instead of just kill.
Good point.
Yeah, that does change things now.
It is though. It turned it. Well, okay, here's the other thing too, though. If we get nerfed gas traps, we're gonna have to find a whole new way to kill things anyway.
I don't think it's.
If they only work for 3 ticks as opposed to 7, and we can't stack the ticks, people are gonna have a rude awakening when they realize their tunnels are not anywhere near what they once were.
Yeah, I
I
can't
don't
wait.
think it will make that
Tunnels
much of a
doing-
difference.
Oh, mathematically it is if it works out the way I'm expecting the nerf to be. You literally people like the ticks they stack right now. So when you have 6 or 7 affliction ticks, depending on how you've rolled your 6th roll, every time they hit a gas trap, they're getting more stacked on. That won't happen anymore. The original ticks you get will come off the instant they're not under the original gas trap. At most, you might get 3 ticks when they go underneath a gas trap. They normally would get 7 per. That's a lot of difference.
And that's like what,
that's the way I'm
60k per
expecting
tick,
it to
or
work.
wasn't it 20k per tick?
Yeah.
60 per crit tick. That's a lot. That's a lot of
So-
numbers, and then the not stacking changes a lot of things. Okay, so real quick, I'm gonna pause this whole thing. Let's welcome Tytastic to the Commanders Cast, episode 3. Hey Ty, you there? Hi.
Hello. Yeah,
Hi.
Yo, Ty.
just got home.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome to the Commanders Cast. Perfect. Now the pictures make sense.
Tell us how to fix endurance.
Yeah.
How to fix endurance?
Yeah. Overall.
I
How do we
don't
keep it
know.
going? Here, that's actually probably the best topic we've hit on, like that we just hit on, is how longevity. What would you do to try to introduce some more gameplay into endurance going forward?
I don't know. I feel like they're trying to fix a lot of stuff, and I have to change all my tunnel constantly, and just like, yeah, because the AIs are like acting differently, and I gotta adjust for it all the time. Yeah, kind of got like, kind of a bit annoying, but I get it. They're trying to fix something. They're trying to make it work. So we just have to wait and see what happens. Yeah, yeah.
I forgot what topic I was talking about. I'm confused. What was I on about? Was
Endless.
endless. Okay, yes. Endless. This is a good way to start. So, endless. As soon as they can fix their problems with entities, right? You know, propanes and items, I think endurance would be much more stable, along with SSDs and all of that. And then endless could actually be a possibility. I think everyone would rage if they crashed on, per se, wave 43, but it's a step in the right direction. As long as, like, you know, they can fix, they can detect, this game crashed, he was on wave 43, give him wave 43 rewards. If they can fix that issue, then endless could be a thing. Like, your console died, I'm sorry, here's your rewards at least. No one's mad at the fact that they crashed endurance. I mean, well, they are, but no, what they're really mad about is that they didn't get the rewards. That's what I would be mad about. If I crashed wave 28, oh man, I just lost 700 legendary perk up and I lost all that time. Then it'd be like, okay, yeah.
Well, yeah. Chedic, I've crashed so many times. I've lost so many hours and so many traps and so much materials that, yeah, it's not just for me. It's personally, it's not just about the rewards. I mean,
It's more about your time
it's
wasted.
just- yeah, the time is precious. So yes.
Okay, well, I don't know how to talk about that. All I know is that if they fix that, or like, you know, put in a system where they can like catch you, like, you crashed in this wave, here's your rewards. That's a solution. I don't think the feelings is something I could touch up on. Personally, it's been for me, wow, I wasted my time. Where's my rewards? And I didn't get that. That's how I am. I kind of pushed that onto you guys. Sorry about that. How would endless actually work though? I'm assuming everyone here knows impact threshold, right? And most of our tunnels run on wall launchers and floor launchers. And to not just be like, hey, floor launchers to kill, but wall launchers to, you know, put into and recycle. At a certain point, if it's endless, wall launchers won't be able to recycle anymore. Smashers impact would go past 100k. That's past 3, 4 launch, well, 2.5. And then what are we gonna do then? What are we gonna do if we're dealing with like a power level 500 Smasher, and it doesn't, you know, its impact is like 200k? What then? Will we have 5 floor launchers, a combination of wall lights and wall launchers? How would we actually do endless mode?
Chedic, I actually have a suggestion for this one.
Please do.
Okay, so what we need to distinguish right now is that endless and endurance are two very different things. Well, not very different, they're similar-ish, but they are not the same. So first thing that I would like to touch on right now, specifically for Endless, my suggestion is that you would be able to only like you would have a base kind of like how Challenge the Horde was. It would just be that one base, and you would only be able to build within that particular area. Now, once you're done building, you would just have to make it last as long as possible, because when it means endless, the husks just keep coming. And they're going to keep coming, and they're going to keep coming, and they don't stop. That's endless. And then you see how long your funnels can last, because the durability is going to go, your weapons are going to break, or whatever the hell it is, right? You cannot replace them. So whoever does the best is the one who is able to last the longest, because the husks just keep coming.
So not like
That's
a wave
endless.
thing, right? Not like waves, but instead a certain amplifier, like wave 30 amplifier, right? That amplifier gets attacked, and then you win, you have the
Over
option.
and over and over.
Oh, I was thinking more like once you have the option to turn endless mode, and then that amplifier gets attacked for a certain amount of time. And then when that amplifier gets destroyed, another amplifier gets attacked for a long time until that one falls. And then that keeps going until it reaches all amplifiers around on the map. And then bam. Once all your amplifiers are done, your endless time comes up. You have survived certain amount of time. Here's your rewards. That would be cool. Is that what you were mentioning?
That could also, like, that could be a thing as well. What I was thinking was more of a separate thing where you would have, like, let's say your template, you know, let's give it a 10 by 10 or 9 by 9, whatever the heck it is, right?
Like Challenge the Horde?
You like Challenge the Horde, and then you would be able to place as many things as you could within your particular space, right? And then that would be it. And then that's what you had to work with. And then they just keep on coming until your base falls and you die.
I think that would be a
And
great.
that would be endless.
That would be a great event. But is that really endurance? Endless.
It's not endurance. Like, that's why I said it would be different. Endurance and endless would be two separate things.
Oh, I was trying to think of a way to incorporate endurance as an endless. But an endless mode in itself would just be fantastic otherwise. And that would work. I would like that. But do you have any suggestions on how they can incorporate endurance into endless? Or just...
It would be endless in the sense that the progression would be endless. That would be my because I'm not gonna spend like 24 hours sitting down here for my before I finish the game. No.
Okay. So no, not like wave 31 and forever. More like time for this area. That's like, that could be an event. That could be an event. I feel like endless would be better on a new map and also ramping difficulty. So yeah, Dave is over here saying that endless mode would just be an event kind of situation dealio, which would be enjoyable. So I guess let's not try to correlate endurance and endless together, unless anyone has any ideas on how they can do so. I'll leave the table open.
I mean, I personally would not want an endless mode. I think actually reducing the time that we have to play at the moment would be a better idea, and then adding in progression. So technically it wouldn't be endless in terms of time spent, but it would be endless in terms of how much you could play it. So you'd spend an hour and then you could stop and know that you completed it, and you could go again and it would be harder. So it's almost like splitting it up into manageable chunks, I guess.
Anyone else? Or is endless just like a not a topic that good? Because after that, I'm pretty much out of topics.
I'd do an endless. What if it was something like, you know, in regular games where once you beat the campaign, you can unlock like nightmare mode? What if we had like a nightmare mode type of endless situation where you start on wave 30 instead of starting on wave 1? And like, if they just ramped it from 30 to 60 to a point where you just wouldn't be able to survive, but you can see how far you can make it, and I'm sure people would find ways. I'm sure they didn't think Allura and his pals would make it to 400 plus with the other with the Horde Bash stuff. So I'm gonna guess that people in this community will find a good way to get real far in it anyway. So I don't know, that could be one option for it. But I like Dave's idea of new maps. We've already discussed that though. Like we all like the idea of a new map.
We all do.
A
It'd
new
be
map's a new
fantastic.
challenge. We're completely on a whiteboard with fresh ideas and fresh ways to deal with new problems.
And at this point,
Yeah, I don't know. I really just feel like endurance and endless really should just be separate things, like I was mentioning earlier. And endurance would be where you would have, like you see, you would have the endless progression for endurance through your so-called unlockable progression modes, like your nightmare mode, your prestige mode, whatever it is. Endurance is done, you unlock the next one. Obviously, you don't have to make it 2.5 hours or whatever long duration it is, but each time you unlock it, you get more rewards, you get more what do you call that, difficult husk, you get more amps getting attacked, whatever it is. You just ramp up the difficulty in whatever way you can think of, and then basically we covered that already. But more to touch on a little bit on that endless concept, right? Like, it's just the thing that I'm very like disagreeing with. Like, you know, I just like what you guys are saying also. I don't want them to have this thing where sitting here for like hours at a time. It's just not worth it.
not fun.
So yeah, just literally just have us play, like, say for example, like a Frost Night sort of thing, and then just keep barraging us with us over and over until we die. That's it. And that would be endless. Because you will run out of stuff at one point, you will run out of bases at one point, you run out of players at one point, and then when any of those things happen, you die, and then that's it. And then you have a timing or whatever.
Alright, well, after this I have no more topics. Does anyone have anything else to bring up, or should we ask the community some things? Cause I'm out of stuff. Cause I don't see any. There's insignificant problems that I know can't be fixed because AI and stuff, but I have
Yeah.
I'm out of things to talk about because I don't see any more problems.
Right, so Moonlight Hunter was just mentioning in chat earlier about the whole concept of, you know, making husk spongier equals more, like equals difficulty.
Does it?
And yeah, so here's the thing, right? I will disagree in the sense that if floor launchers are fixed, then adding husk sponginess is difficulty. Because if you don't deal enough damage, they're going to leak. Right now, that's not a problem. We don't feel it because whatever it is that makes it past our funnels, you just need to make sure that we deal 10% health, and then you just launch them into the sky and then you win. Whereas if you didn't have that particular mechanic, your funnels, let's say for example, did 10,000 damage, but the husks now require you to deal 25,000 damage. They will leak. You need to find a way to optimize within that same amount of space to deal 25,000 damage. If not, you lose, you leak, right? So in that sense, sponginess will make sense. But right now it makes no sense because floor launchers, back to it again, something that I keep talking about. So yeah.
Floor launcher. Hashtag nerf floor launchers, guys. I want it. I want them broken. But, well, if they nerf floor launchers, what would they turn it into? Just a recycler tool? What is it?
So
Yeah, no damage.
I mean, I'm fine with no damage on floor launcher, honestly. I like to recycle, so.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, that's pretty much what
Yeah.
most of us
As long as
use
I
it
can
for
recycle
anyways.
with them, we're fine. You can take their.
Yeah. I
But does
mean,
the-
to be honest, like whatever they're gonna do to change, like I'll pursue for ways to like figure it out, honestly. So,
Yeah, we
because I
still
know
have-
how hard it is to like fix all these problems for us like developers in general and all that stuff. So, I'm patient with it. Yeah.
Okay. Is that like the whole consensus? Us as the content creators, do we think that just removing the damage from floor launches is good? Allura, yes, no. Just quick yes,
they can
no's.
okay, so there's broad strokes, right? Removing floor launcher damage entirely sounds like a very broad would I be okay with it? Yeah, I'll be okay with it. But I think more importantly, they really need to see. I think I've suggested before also, right, where we have things like if you want a quick fix would be able to basically limit the amount of rolls that you could have on the floor launcher itself, where they cannot be launched into ridiculous heights, where they will be able to instantly remove 90% of their health. That's one possible fix. You just limit the number of impact rolls that you can have on your floor launcher. And then like you guys say, number two, you can also remove gravitational damage entirely, but that would also be a problem, I guess, because that would probably mess around with their entire physics system, where players and husks, taking fall damage, do they no longer take fall damage? Would it then affect the AI and stuff like that? So all those things are possibly things that might be hindering them from making these so-called decisions. So yeah, I think some kind of a go-between has to be done, isn't it? It's a difficult problem for sure.
It is, and I just asked chat that how would they feel about them removing damage on floor launchers? A lot of them said no. About 10 of them said no.
Yeah, by a lot of them, you mean most of them.
Most of them, yeah. Massive no.
Well, I watched that lit up quick. I'm like, oh, look at the hotlines light up.
It's because the people wants to AFK it. They don't want to work.
Yeah, no one
they
really
got
does
solution
want
all
to work.
that stuff. Because a lot of people now they're just wanting the rewards, which is understandable. But for us, who wants a challenge, progress.
Does fall damage win you regular missions? Or
Oh
does it
no,
only
Dave said
win you
rip.
endurance?
Dave said rip, floor launchers and taking the damage is going away. Oh no!
Dropping a rip in chat. Yeah, I see. I don't know. I feel like most of us and most people that would be worried about it are only worried about it in very end game type situations. Anyway.
Yeah.
You're not going to need 5 impact in a regular mission.
No, but people do
You're not
that.
sitting there struggling trying to launch stuff. There's only 3 to 4 smashers at a time, and we can kill everything on the map, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I feel like, and I mean, as endgame players, we're kind of forced to have to adapt anyway. It's kind of our whole shtick at being at the end of the game. So, I think that's why we're so quick to be like, yeah, if you remove it, it is what it is. And chat's like, don't remove it. And I get that because most people are like, no. You're already touching gas. What the heck are you gonna do to us? But I'm pretty sure most people would adapt. I don't think it'd be that. I mean, it'd be different, but I don't think it'd be that much harder.
I mean, people make a big deal than it shouldn't be, so it's always like that for gaming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Then people just accept it later on.
I think
it's not so bad.
Personally, I think floor launchers shouldn't do damage. Because I remember there's times where when we were all beginners clearing endurance, what was our go-to solution when a blowout would happen? What would you guys do? Would you spam gases, or would you spam 5x floor launchers? Be real. I remember when it was my first time clearing endurance, and a blowout happened, I'd be like, oh no, spam floor launchers. There shouldn't be a give-all solution to things like that. And I know everyone here has done it. And it still is the solution. Blowout? Oh, spam floor launchers, you'll be fine. That's all you gotta do.
I mean, Allura is pretty much the only one here that can talk on doing Frostnight without floor launchers. So I mean,
I haven't did.
If anybody gets to say what happens to floor launchers, he gets the reigning vote. He knows life without floor launchers and some of the most difficult content we've ever seen. So, I mean,
yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Basically, rehashing again. I honestly feel like my biggest highlight playing Fortnite for the past 800 whatever days was Frostnight, and the reason for that was because it felt like the most complete experience. Players could work together, we had to gather resources, we had to build, we had to decide which weapons we were going to craft, we were to decide which traps we wanted to place, where to place them. Alright, so in my personal opinion, when we were doing it without the floor launchers, that was the single most fulfilling experience that I ever had. And the main reason for that is because when the husks raised in power level, while we were building those trap funnels and stuff like that, we always had to think about the resources that we were gathering when we were gathering them to craft the things that we needed to survive that particular wave. Also, players had to be in a particular spot, grouped up, popping war cry, focusing various smashes and stuff like that, because if we were AFK, or if we were missing, or if somebody was dead or something like that, then the whole thing would fall apart. So to me, like, that was the reason why I felt like we just didn't want to use floor launchers, and that would be the game for us. So if you guys took away floor launcher damage, I would be 100% behind that. Use it to reposition us, send them backwards, send them upwards, send them left and right, whatever the case. But at the end of the day, if you want to make good funnels, and if you want like gameplay which actually engages the player to force them into trying to build smartly, build the right weapons, get the right heroes in there, then that would be your answer. So yeah, I would agree. Just floor launchers go away with the damage and stuff like that, and people will actually start thinking about how to make proper funnels.
I agree completely.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure both my devil amplifiers, Devil North and Devil West, they have sections where they'll get to the end of the tunnel and they'll get launched up onto a upper level, and from there it's just 5x floor launchers to kill them. I don't think that's a proper tunnel, but when I see a 98% HP smasher at the end of Devil West or Devil North, I don't see a solution. And I think the whole way of playing Endurance would change if you don't know how to properly recycle. I think a lot of us, I don't think I would be able to clear Endurance no floor launchers. I personally believe I wouldn't be able to at the moment. I would, but it would take me a really long time.
You sell yourself short.
Yeah, you would be able to Chedic. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's not that bad, bro. It's honestly not that bad.
Well, I'm
It's
talking
just-
about doing nothing.
Like,
as in-
okay, no floor launchers and nerfed gas. That might be a whole experience. We may all have to find out what that's like one day. But right now, you're completely fine. Like, yeah, you have more than enough. You just have to change a few things, and I'm pretty sure you can knock it out.
I think now is the time that I want to talk about Smasher AI. Did you guys know that Smashers cannot properly walk? No, Mist Monsters cannot properly walk up ramps, and they cannot walk over gaps in between a floating floor and a floor. Natural terrain, if there's a tiny gap in between a floor and a floor tile, Smashers will not be able to walk through that, and they'll select a natural path. However, Hus and all Hus types can. They can properly walk up ramps, and they can properly walk over gaps. And without the ability to have vertical gameplay, and I was one of the players who really wanted vertical gameplay, I don't think there's much I can do without it. So if the developers can fix the AI problems with Smashers, and I have a video of all of it, Smashers walking through walls, Smashers walking through ramps, Smashers unable to walk through gaps, I have footage. And if they want it, I will definitely give it to them. But I just think if they nerf all of these traps and they change the way the traps work, at least give us the ability to make tunnels with all of the pieces. We don't use ramps and we don't use pyramids. What do we use ramps and pyramids for? Oh yeah, that's right, to block off. We don't use them as they're intended. Ramps, things are supposed to go up ramps. We just use it to block things off. And if they allow us to use ramps and actually do crazy things, then we can make any tunnel easy. There would be no reason for any traps, in fact. Well, not any traps, but not the obscene amount of traps that we've put into our game. I think I could build anything if I'm just allowed to let things walk up a ramp. But because I can't, I'm limited to one horizontal playing field. And I hate it. And I have to force things up vertically with traps instead of the 4 gameplay pieces. What do you guys think? Let's start with Rob's.
Can you pass it off? I'm just writing a message.
Okay, yeah, Ty. Vertical gameplay.
Vertical gameplay. Yeah, I know all the problems. I've seen it, and that's why I veered away from it from certain amplifier. But I do use it at my double west, and it works fine. But I do notice the blaster phasing through without no traps there. When I don't have any traps there, they just walk up and then they just try to wiggle their way up, and they just phase through the floors. So
hold up, real quick. Allura might be leaving because we're done with the main topics. We've long been done with the main topics. I'm just talking for a bit.
Could we just do a quick roundup of all the things that we talk about? Any last final comments and stuff?
Oh, okay, yeah. So the 4 topics we talked about today were lava bomb manipulation, how we think that it is kind of a problem the way it is, you know, all of it's random, and the solution we discussed was, hey, instead of it being random, let there be like a hologram or a set position for the lava bomb, so we know where it is before adjusting it, or just having it in a position that doesn't absolutely destroy us. And I think I don't remember what else about lava bomb because there's other topics. We also talked about AFK endurance, and some people were okay with it. Some players were okay with some content creators were like, oh, okay, yeah, AFK endurance is fine. You built your base, you do whatever you want with your base. I understand that, but I think AFKing is a problem. That's my personal opinion, and that's about all we went on with that. Then we were talking about, what was it? New maps and reusing old maps, as in Stonewood, Plankerton, and Kenny, how they are absolutely boring for the average endgame player, and they could be rehashed in the form of prestige mode, where the difficulty is much like endurance and twine. And then possibly for twine, increasing the difficulty, and yeah. Then we were talking about longevity of endurance, such as, you know, starting the game whenever you want, certain waves, certain time frames, seeing how that goes. That would also be great for testing your base and stuff. And as far as I can remember off the top of my head, I am sorry. If anyone can do more of a recap on the things I missed out, I would let Smurf try it if you're here. Smurf?
I'm here, yeah.
Can you recap it? Recap the things I was talking about?
I think you did a good job.
We did a good job? Okay, so yeah, that's about most of the things that we were talking about today. Allura, anything that I missed?
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, we gave a couple of solutions, stuff like that, but the main broad strokes mostly covered. So yeah, seems good.
Seems good. Shall we end the podcast, or because I personally have nothing else to talk about? I think we covered most of the things that I wanted to talk about, and I'm down to raid out into another streamer with this 148 people.
An hour. What do we do? An hour and 45 almost?
Oh yeah, it's a really good time. I'm really happy with that. I'm not gonna lie. Titastic, I wish you could have been here earlier, and I wish Vocaloid could have been here. But hey, so let's exit this out. So Allura, Flipper, Orthow, Robs, Ty, and UWUSMURF, thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for tuning into this endurance episode of podcast. And yeah, it was wonderful. What else do I have to say? Anyone watching this on YouTube, any content creators, please DM me or Chexky or Dorky Chrissy. Let instead of Chrissy reaching out to you, reach out to us if you want to be a part of the podcast. And also to all you content creators watching it, if you're already in the podcast, make sure to check out the scheduled podcast so we know if you want to attend. This one was type closed and I wanted to adjust the endurance players, but the next ones will possibly be open and they will be slotted possibly to 8, because I think controlled group is actually really fun and I absolutely love this podcast. And yeah, who should we raid now? Who should we slaughter with people? Does anyone have an idea?
You're asking us?
Yeah, I'm asking you guys.
I vote Lion.
Lion? I like to do small people, but okay. We'll let the community decide. I'm gonna restart my stream after raiding. I'm not gonna lie, after like an hour, because this is my stream day. Cav?
That's another reason why I don't play Save the World, because you have too many chatters that like complain about.
Flipper? What was that?
Well, I would always raid somebody who plays Save the World. Like, I would always promote that. So if there's somebody small who plays Save the World, I would.
No, I can hear your background noise.
I know knitting is.
Who are you watching that's badmouth and Save the World right now?
Knitting. But she's playing Save the World, so she's still playing it.
Okay,
So.
I think I got a lot of Cav.
No, Knitting's a nice person.
Oh yeah, no, she's a good person. She's fine.
It just came out at a time.
Yeah, we just joined her right at the best time.
Yeah.
Should we rate her? Cause talking shit.
Yeah, we should.
Hey, we're just talking shit.
Do it.
Do it. I'm sorry. Everyone.
We heard you love stream and
I'm
save the
sorry,
world.
Knitting.
Hey,
I'm
heard
sorry.
you love stream and save the world.
Oh, here it comes.
Everyone, copy paste. Copy paste.
Oh.
Change it up. Add emotes all you want. What's the name of that person?
I heard you love stream and save the world, by the way.
GLK.
GLK. Knitting. I don't know how to spell it.
I'll write it down.
Hey, I heard you love stream and save.
Oh, that's
I'm gonna say, hey, I heard you talking shit. You about to get big surprise. All right, guys.
Alright, we got our
Thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you over at Knitting. Toodles.
She's gonna be super happy.
Oh wait, I gotta click the whole raid button. What'd you say, Laura?
Say cheers, man. Thanks for having us over.
No, thank you for coming. I appreciate that. I think Lion will probably be hosting the next podcast. I will be talking to him about it. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate the whole turnout. And yeah, let's end this off. I got nothing else to say, so I'm gonna end it with my slogan. Toodles! Boop. Okay, they're gone. And stop recording.